Hi everybody, this is Jason, the Science Outreach Manager and Life Science Educator here at the Children's Museum Houston. Right now I am inside the Power Science Lab, which is part of Power Play, to show you how to dissect an owl pellet. And this is being brought to you by Texas Children's Hospital, so let's thank them very much. Now, what is an owl pellet? A lot of people think owl pellets are owl poop. They are not poop, they are owl puke. It's actually something that the owls do to get rid of undigestible bits of food. First of all, let's talk a little bit about owls. Owls are my favorite bird. And the reason why they're my favorite bird is because they have really cool adaptations. They have really sharp talons or claws. They have a really sharp beak. So when they're going after their prey, they can go ahead and grab it in those claws and they can tear it apart with their beak. They also, when they fly pretty silently. They kind of glide along so their prey can't even hear them. They have these really big eyes because they are nocturnal hunters. So they need to be able to gather a lot of light so they can see their prey in the dark. Also, there is a myth. People think that owls can turn their head completely around 360 degrees. They can't quite do that, but standing perfectly still, they can move their heads 270 degrees one way and 270 degrees the other way, so they can effectively see all 360 degrees, just not in one turn. So all of these adaptations are designed to help the owl be a good predator. And predators, of course, are animals that hunt for their food. Now, when we dissect something, we go from the outside in to see what we can find. And what's really cool about owl pellet dissection is that we get to see lots of bones of the animals they eat. They tend to eat rodents of all types. They like voles, mice, rats. And the thing is, owls eat a lot in one night. An owl of this size might eat 6, 7, 8 different voles, which are about that big, in a single night. So they eat all this food every single night to help keep their bodies running during the long day periods. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this owl pellet and I'm going to pull it apart and see what I can see. I am wearing gloves because owl pellets, if you find them in the wilderness, can be a little dirty, filled with germs and whatnot. These owl pellets, though, I get from a biological store, so they're actually cleaner than my hands right now, but I do want you to get the idea of wearing gloves when you're doing things like that. My tools are simple. I have a little skewer right here, I have a toothbrush, and I have these tweezers right here, and a cup of water. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna poke in with the skewer first, start to pull bones out with the tweezers, and then clean them with the water and the brush. So let's go ahead and do this right now. So I'm going to start by poking right in like that and basically kind of tear it apart a little bit. All this outer part is fur. This is all fur. So fur can also be undigestible. But what we mainly see, and right away we're seeing stuff, are bones. You see that right there? That's probably a skull right there where my finger is, right next to the skewer. So I'm going to start to dig around in there and pull that skull out so you can see what I'm seeing. Now you got to be careful because you could break the skull, which I actually broke a little bit of it. So you want to really dig carefully if you can, but it's okay. I'm sure there's another skull somewhere. And you want to start to maybe see if you can pull on it a little bit, maybe pull some of this fur out of the way, like that. That's a big skull actually. There we go. I'm starting to get it now. There it is. Let's pull that fur off with the tweezers. Can be hard, but you can start to see the idea of the skull. You can just use your hands too, like I'm doing right now. Pulling that off. That is actually probably a leg bone right there, or maybe a forearm bone, that little one I just had in my hand. But here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. There is my skull, right there. That looks like it might be a pocket gopher actually, so this was fed something, that it had. So then I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm just going to sort of dip it in the water like that. And then I can use the brush to carefully get rid of any more of the fur. Now, I want you all to realize this is a real skull. This is not something fake. This is real. Something was eaten, partially digested, the skin and the organs, And then this is what's left over. I'll see if I can remove some of this out of here. Yeah, you see when you wet it, you can get it in your tweezers a little better. Okay. So then you got all this cool stuff coming out. You can see the teeth, you can see where the eye socket is, you can see the back part of the skull, all that good stuff. Now why do I have a bag? Well, so I can save my trophies, which I can consider this a trophy. So I can put it inside my bag. And then I can take this little leg bone or arm bone, clean that too. And this one doesn't really need much brushing, but I'll brush a little bit. Actually, I put some on when I try to brush it, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this inside of here as well. So then at some point, you will have a bag of bones. Now this is really cool because we're getting close to Halloween, and actually here at the museum, we're going to be doing this on October 23rd. You can come to the museum and I will be running workshops where you can tear apart owl pellets.